WCCO.
D-Rush Hour News headlines going in depth tonight with a really major day in outer space and the Minnesota connection to the Artemis II mission. Today, for the first time, astronauts have gone farther than they have ever gone before as they loop around the moon. Pretty remarkable stuff. And to think about some local companies that have a piece in the action. Par Systems is in Shoreview, Minnesota. Keith Wooddell is the Director of Business Development for Par. He's with us on the John Schuster Coldwell Banker Hotline. Keith, thanks for being here.
Thanks so much for having me. Really excited to talk to you.
This has got to be special for you guys, knowing that Par System played a role in, well, it's a long explanation. I'm going to have you get into it, but give me the emotional side of it, knowing that you guys are helping to facilitate what's happening here.
Par Systems is so proud to be a Minnesota company who's playing a critically important role in supporting NASA and the Artemis program. And we're excited about having our products delivered out into space and around the moon and back. And can't tell you how excited everybody in the company is about this program.
You guys do you service a lot of different manufacturing processes, a lot of different types of company, but the aerospace manufacturing part of the Par Systems business, explain what you guys are doing, because I think understanding this gets to the complexity of all of the different partners that end up going in to try to figure out how are we going to make a spacecraft and a capsule that will go farther than anything that's ever gone before.
Well, it's a team effort between Par Systems and a lot of other companies like Boeing and Lockheed Martin. But essentially, we deliver the machine tools that support the manufacturing of all the critical cryogenic fuel tanks in the Orion crew capsule. And we use technology, our friction stir welding technology, to be able to provide a reliable weld on the cryogenic tanks to make sure the astronauts are safe and that they trust the vehicle.
So that's the magic, right? And I think our listeners have an idea as to what welding is, but traditional welding would at least be vulnerable to leaks or cracks or problems if it wasn't for this friction stir welding process that you guys have created?
Yeah, great. So friction stir welding is a solid state welding process. So we really don't heat the material up. We use like a typical fusion weld that melts the material.
Right.
The material remains consistent with like toothpaste when you see it and it's finished. So it makes for a very strong weld and a reliable weld, and it's been flown on a number of different missions.
And it's lighter too, right? And that's a big deal when you're trying to engineer this massive. I mean, it is striking when we watch the liftoff and you look at this thing and see how much of this is really just fuel. I mean, the massive fuel tanks to be able to shoot this thing out.
Yeah, for every pound of aluminum that we can save them, they can put more fuel in the tanks. So that's what they're interested in. And that allows them to go further, allows them to get to the moon and back. So critically important part of it.
Talking with Keith Wooddell, Par Systems, which is in Shoreview, Minnesota. You guys do all sorts of different industries, right? We talk about the aerospace part of it because it's sort of magical, right? When you're watching these astronauts doing something that is just unthinkable, I think. Well, I guess it was, we landed on the moon 50 some years ago, but in my generation, I've never witnessed anything quite like what we're seeing here today. But you're involved in sort of the medical field, automotive, marine, nuclear, all sorts of different stuff, right?
Yeah, Park gets into all kinds of different industries. We're heavily involved with the Department of Defense, and we've got product on most of our aircraft carriers. We get involved in life sciences, and so we're developing automation equipment to produce a lot of your instrumentation that are used in the medical field. And then we also get involved quite a bit in the Department of Energy. So we're involved with nuclear cells and the new nuclear modular reactors. So we get involved in just about everything.
You know, when we look at Minnesota and the advantage that we have as a location for businesses, or the disadvantage, right, is we're trying to grow our economy, trying to recruit new companies. What you guys are doing is really sort of, you think, all right, you have a lot of engineers on your team, right? It's a lot of real like science and mathematic experts. But being able to be on the front end of this sort of Department of Defense, sort of contractors working in the aerospace industry or in the military side of things, like there's a lot of opportunity for Minnesota here, don't you think?
Absolutely. We work closely with the University of Minnesota in St. Thomas. They're bringing us just fantastic engineers and technical folks. And we need it because 75% of our people are engineering based or technical. So we really need that to be able to communicate with our customers, and it makes for a great product.
It's pretty cool. It's cool stuff. Congratulations. I mean, how many people on your team worked on this? We're connected anyway to this mission with Artemis II.
Oh, easily a couple hundred of our
wow.
folks have been involved in it, from program management to engineering to sales to delivery of the actual machinery, technicians on our floor. So it's a real team effort.
Did you guys have like a little watch party or something watching the liftoff the other day?
Well, believe it or not, we were lucky enough to be down on the river, and we saw the launch. We were actually at a trade show.
No way.
This past week, and so we were able to get out there. Didn't think we were going to make it, but somehow, some way, the traffic subsided, and we were able to get out there and watch it go up. It was phenomenal.
Oh, so cool. That's so cool. You know, a better interview would have led with that, Keith. But I just stumbled into it at the end. I mean, that's how this happens sometimes.
That's the way it works.
Pretty awesome. Really good. Thanks for being with us. Keith Wooddell, Director of Business Development for Par Systems, connected the spacecraft. Great company here in the Twin Cities. Thanks, Keith.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.